T minus one. T minus one. And counting. Okay, I think we have some people.
How many?
It doesn't matter how many.
Because it's us. It's only two watching. We're not doing this.
More than us.
It's not. It's me and you.
It's me and you. Okay.
We're gonna wait. Okay. We got 8. Thank you. Nice to see you again too, Mr.
All right. Here we go. I don't know how the quality of the sound is. It sounds like the acoustics.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear, okay. All right, family. Greetings, greetings, peace and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourists. Still from 85 to Africa, we are living in the after, and we are, as you already know, we are in Mombasa, in Kenya, and we're still very much excited. We actually took a little detour. We went to Nairobi, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're not going to do that today. But you know, before we get started, let me hold on.
Okay.
Before we get started, let me share something with my family out there. Here's a little secret. You know, my wife is a little ghetto, right? You should see this. You should see how we have this phone rigged up.
I don't believe you put me out like that.
I'm gonna send the picture. I'm gonna take a picture and send it. I'm gonna put it in the community.
I see no obstacles.
That's why I love her so much. She sees no obstacles.
Just no obstacles.
All of our things that still have not yet arrived from Rwanda, and we just have to do what we have to do. So, so I just had to put that out there. Just a little funny.
But can you guys hear us well?
Please let us know.
Somebody just answer that, please.
Don, watching from
We've got
Dubai.
some important stuff to talk about today.
Yes, yes.
They can hear us?
It has been good to us thus far, and it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us live. We greatly appreciate it. But please let us know if we can or cannot be heard. As I mentioned, we had to kind of rig up this device here for us to be able to. Okay, so yes.
They can hear, okay.
Sister Hadaya, thank you so very, very much. Appreciate it. Hadia, I'm sorry, I pronounced it incorrectly.
Hadia.
Hadia, I'm sure it depends. Okay.
So we wanted to come outside so you can see our new background. You can look over the trees, you can see the ocean, my favorite little view. So we wanted to bring it outside today to talk about a real important situation, y'all. Stuff that we never thought about, that you need to think about, especially if you're planning to move abroad. Not just to Africa, because this is stuff you need to think about, period. If you leave in the U.S. and you're used to certain things in place, it ain't going to be that way when you go to another country.
Yeah, not, yeah. Just expect that it may not be what you expect.
Right. And so
thank you, Sister Hadaya. I pronounced it correctly. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Your mama told you the wrong way there. It's a deal.
Thank you, sister. It's a beautiful name. However you pronounce it, it's a beautiful name. Okay, I'm sorry, sweetie. Go ahead. We can be heard. Thank you. Best the Corey. Thank y'all for confirming that we can be heard. Appreciate it.
So we want to share 3 situations that had happened on them. And, you know, we love Rwanda. We're not talking bad about it. Rwanda's going to grow. It has a lot of room to grow. So people that are thinking about relocating to Rwanda, you have to understand that it's a growing country, not just with the people, but in technique and methods and technology and just life in general.
Right.
So what has started to get scary for me in particular is their emergency response. especially, we had two mamas with us. So one time we were outside having an event, and an older brother came in from New York. We were doing meditation and yoga and all kinds of wonderful things. We had a lot of expats that came in from the States, our friends and family, everybody was here. And we were sitting in a chair, and we were doing meditation and some type of meditation yoga. And the brother put his head back and passed out. And he's at least in his, I think, 70s. He's in his 70s, but he's strong.
Strong, brother, strong.
He's very strong, but he put his head back, and I watched him, his eyes rolled in the back of his head a little bit, and he took like this deep breath that was scary, because I've seen it many times before when people are checking out. So he passed out. And we jumped up, and we got him to come through again, but then he passed out again. And then when he came through again, he said, I just gotta lay down. He laid on the ground. Now, where we were, which was at Ikalo Cafe, there's a clinic right across the street from it. So my husband and the manager at that time ran over to the clinic, and they're like, hey, hello, we need medical attention, we need help. There's a man across the street, he just passed out. The response that we got was, they were like, I can't leave, I'm the only one here.
I can't,
What? What you want me to do? This is at the hospital. It's a clinic or a hospital.
It's a clinic.
And they were like, and so he came back over.
I was lit. I was hot. I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean?
And so we're calling the ambulance on the phone now. What is it? 2911, something like that. We're talking to them.
112.
112. If you ask any local what is the emergency number, no one knows. They don't call it. And so we finally got a hold of the ambulance, and they said, okay, we're coming. To this day, we're still waiting for the ambulance to come.
It never came.
Never came.
It never came.
We had a lot of holistic healers that was there that pretty much called on to God and pulled his soul up off the ground. And he's fine. He's in New York. He's okay. But the ambulance, we're still waiting for them to come.
Still waiting. It was funny. Not funny, but it was interesting because, of course, you're in a particular mindset. You call in, but while you're waiting for the, ambulance or the emergency response to respond, you're doing what you have to do. Trying to, and so your attention is everywhere. It just so happens, as my wife was saying, the brother came to, he was doing okay. And I'm be honest with you, I completely forgot about the ambulance until about 3 weeks later. It just dawned on me, like, well, wait a minute. I asked the manager, I said, so did the ambulance ever come? And they never came. She was like, no, they never, did they call? Did they call? Did they do anything? Nothing. I said, wow, that is really scary. It was really scary. I said,
really scary. And we noticed, and I always kept saying it, do they have ambulances? Because you never hear it. And if there's, by chance, there is one behind you, they never put on the sound, never put on the lights. The cars don't respect it. They don't move out the way.
none of that.
So if your mama's in that back of that ambulance, got 3 minutes left to live, she dying.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's not gonna happen.
It might be, and from what we were told that, because we inquired naturally, well, what's going on with that whole situation? It was like, well, unless it's a very important person, it's just going to be a casual, it's going to be a casual thing. If it's a very important person, then you might get some urgency and what you would anticipate or expect in an emergency response. But outside of that, you're not really going to get too much different. So, it's really unfortunate. And as we were mentioning, is that these are those things that you just would take for granted because it's something
you definitely. And when we're home, it's annoying. Ambulance every 5 minutes, fire truck every 5 minutes, police every 5 minutes.
It's annoying when you're at home.
It's annoying when you're at home. You're just like, I can't even sleep. But when you're here, it's like, why is it so quiet? So the other story, like this was right before we left.
Before you go there, let me shout out. So we got Brother Delaney, Brother Wendell. Thank you so much for traveling to Dallas. Thank you for catching us real quick. We appreciate you. joining in. We got Sister Sunday. Thank you so much for catching us. We greatly appreciate that. And we got Trizza Bundy. Thank you as well for catching us and joining. I hope I didn't miss anyone because it's kind of scrolling up. But thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate it very much.
All right, so before we left, and this is after my mom passed away, so emotions are already high. We're driving down the street. We're about leaving maybe in 2 days, or the next day. It was somewhere very close like that.
Okay, I didn't know it was that. Okay.
Yeah, it was very close. And we're coming down the street, and I think I had my head down looking at the phone, but my husband seen this young boy on a bike, and he's transporting a younger boy, and an SUV hits him.
Okay. So I didn't quite see. I heard, and I didn't see the impact, but I heard immediately the effects of the impact. And then as things were in motion after the immediate, I guess, hit, because we're going this way and the car's coming this way. It was like kind of a fork, if you will. And so I didn't see the immediate impact, but as it happened, I could see the motions afterwards.
You're hearing the youngest boy screaming and crying, but the older boy was laid out on the ground.
So immediately put the brakes on, turn the ignition. I don't even think I turned the car off. We jumped out of the vehicle, went directly over, and responded. Immediately, because I'm hearing this. Well, I'm seeing this young boy. He was a teenager. I'm thinking about maybe 12 or so. But as I'm, moving toward it, I'm hearing this crying sound, not from this individual, but seemingly a younger boy. But I couldn't see him.
Yeah, he was sitting on the curb.
No, he hadn't made it to the curb yet. So I'm looking. Then I see him. Then I definitely go over to this shit and making sure he's okay. He was just shook up. He had some scrapes
on his knees.
But he was just shook up. So we check in, making sure he's okay. But the other young fella, he was motionless just about.
He was laying on the ground. His eyes are closed, but they're flickering, and his breathing was challenged. But out of the back of his head, all this blood was coming out. And he had his arm positioned a certain way. He knew his arm was broken or his shoulder was popped out.
It was something.
And the people are trying to make the boy wake up, get up. So now I'm telling him, get off of the boy, don't move him. In my mind, I'm thinking, ambulance is coming, they on the way, because we're down the street from the hospital.
Like literally.
Literally, you could walk to the hospital. And so I'm telling him to get off of him. Somebody came over from the bank, he had a badge on. He starts to try to pull the boy as well. I had to push him away from the boy. I said, get off of him. He could have a spinal injury. He could be having internal bleeding. People kept trying to touch him. So finally, the police came, which about 25 minutes, okay? The police comes. There's 4 of them in the truck or a van or something.
It was cruising.
Man, they got out the car like...
It was cruising. Like, it was cruising with no siren. There was no vocal like, okay, please give us room. There was nothing. It was a very cavalier.
I didn't even know they got there. So they come out, they look at the boy, and start addressing the crowd, talking to the crowd. And Kenyan, I don't know what they're saying. So the one officer's over, and I'm telling him, his leg looks like it's broken, his shoulder looks like it's dislocated, he's bleeding out the back of his head, his breathing is sporadic, and his eyes are flickering, he's coming in and out. Cop fanned me away and just went over and started talking to the crowd. And I'm like, okay, maybe he didn't understand English, that could be it. The ambulance comes now about 20 minutes or 10 minutes after the police got there. So it's the total of about 40 minutes from the time this baby was laying on the ground.
Same thing though.
But the ambulance was worse. I'm still mad about that.
Very casual, very no sense of urgency or anything. Just very nonchalant, man. Really like, I
No,
don't know.
no signals, no sirens, no nothing. It was 3 ladies in the front of the ambulance. So I was like, oh, good, it's some ladies, they're gonna see this little boy and be fast. When they pulled up, they were laughing.
They were laughing and very jovial. Like, what's going
Like,
on?
oh,
What's
here
happening?
we go. He's pulling a scam on these Mazungos. You know, they had that type of personality, like he's pulling a scam. So the ladies come out and I'm talking to them. There's no way he's pulling a scam when I'm looking at blood on this driveway. And I'm looking at blood on this other boy's knees, and this boy's arm looked like it's broken. So there's no way this is a scam. Lady comes over, I'm telling her what happened. She pushes me out the way. And so at this point, my nerves are already shot. Okay, my mom just passed away, I think 3 days before this. So I'm like, let me go to the car. Because I have that instinct where I'm about to fight every last one of them. We about to fight. I was so upset. I'm in the car and I'm like, I can't even, because I knew they were going to do it wrong. They bent down and grabbed this boy and made him stand up. Made him stand up. Doesn't matter if he had a spinal injury, if he had bleeding of the brain, if his limbs is broken. I know the leg was broken, it was flipped. That didn't matter. She told this boy, get up. And they walked him to the ambulance and he's screaming. And at this point I just closed my eyes because I'm in a different country. This is how they do what they do.
What can you say? What can you really, you're very limited and it's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Very frustrating, So, in that moment, it was very, it was rough, I don't think that, well, at least I like to believe, but I don't think that, it was so severe. So we're hoping that, they were able to get him the treatment that he was able to get, because it wasn't so severe. It was serious, but it wasn't so severe that it could not be treated where he could be.
But in that type of situation, so it's not just the slowness of the ambulance, it's the lack of training in emergency response.
Right, that's the part.
And I know our people always say, hey, that's a job opportunity and that's a business right there. No, it ain't. Because if they're not receptive to you coming and teaching them this,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. We think it is. We think, oh, I can go and I can be a consultant. No, you won't. That's just not how the country is. They're not paying for consultancy like that.
Right.
It's just not. And if you don't like how they do their emergency response, that's on you.
Oh, well, it's a whole well situation.
And I think we only got the second one as emergency response because we were literally walking distance to the hospital.
Right.
Like, how crazy does that look? You don't come.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're going to the hood. Like at home, you be like, you down 911 and it's a joke because they're not coming to your hood. No, they ain't coming to you, period, in Rwanda. They just not. So if you have situations where you're diabetic, or you might have food allergens, or anything that might need an emergency response to come, like you just got unprepared that day, forget about it.
Yeah,
Forget about it.
Connection Black. Greetings to you as well. Indeed, that's exactly where we got the thought from, is our Public Enemy and that whole song, because, we familiar with that whole, but you wouldn't think that, it would be a possibility even on the continent. We're not saying it's every country, but from our experience, this is what we've experienced. And it's kind of like much of the same. And you're right, Brother Wendell, don't ride the momos, which is really the motto, don't ride the motos.
And so it being in Nairobi this past weekend,
It's kind of refreshing.
Man,
On many levels.
Every hour. I was like, we in Philly. We in Atlanta. What is going on?
We in Camden.
And we were somewhere.
Yeah.
This is not what we're used to. I'm not used to hearing emergency response. And I was like, we need to talk about this because that whole situation bothered my spirit so bad because in my mind, I'm like, that boy didn't make it. Not because of the injuries,
Right.
but because of how they handled him after the injury. There's no way that you are emergency response and you pick up an accident victim and make them walk. If you seen no blood and they were holding their head, at least the gurney would come out. No. So I wanted to do some research real quick and look at, there's maybe 4 countries that we, expats or Black Americans or diasporans, trying to think of all the names you guys want us to say, or the real, it's too many names. Y'all just choose whichever one you want to
They know, they get it.
Thank you. But there's 4, maybe 5 countries that we look at. Ghana is one, of course. Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya, and Uganda. That's the 5 major ones that you're hearing a lot of talk about right now. So just trying to research on Kigali in general, on Rwanda in general, just so we can have actual facts. Which one is Kigali? Kigali itself, the city population is 13 million. 13 million. They have 8 ambulances in the city, the metro area. They have 277 in the whole country, but only 8 servicing the biggest city in Rwanda. 8. So pick and choose out of that 8 on any given day. If they there, do they feel like coming? Because these people was looking like they just didn't feel like it. What time?
It's true, it's true.
Man, so I was reading about Ghana. Ghana just launched maybe 4 years ago, a whole new ambulatory system. So Ghana had gotten over like 300 new ambulances, and just in Accra alone, for 2.3 million people, they have 33 ambulances. That sounds a little better, because we're just talking about the major city, Accra in itself. So whatever amount of hospitals they have, there's 33 ambulances that's servicing them. That sounds a little better, but that still sounds scary.
Yeah, that's still,
that sounds a lot scary.
But so let me interject, though, because this is what, having lived on the continent, just these couple countries, let me say, because we just getting into Kenya, let me just say in Rwanda, one of the things that I observed is that, they don't, not even the sense of urgency, but they don't have the sense of danger as well.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking those two are associated because, we see certain things that on the surface is like, wow, that's really kind of cool. Meaning, for an example, we see young children, they're able to walk. I mean, like young children, I'm talking like 3, 4 years old walking, 5 walking to school, major, traffic and, and people everywhere. And it's like, they're safe. They're like safe.
In their mind.
In their minds, they're safe, But because of the society that we come from, we know there are so many things that can just happen in the twinkling of an eye, and just not even anything intentional. Someone could just take their eye off the road for 1 second and, boom, run up on the curb or whatever. Someone could just be speeding. It's just anything. It's just so much. So we live with that sense of danger all the time.
We're always going to be proactive.
We're always on guard about something, because something can happen, but they don't have that type of society. They don't live in a society where these things are, that exist for them to actually even be aware of the possibilities. And then this is, you can say, well, some things are kind of like common sense, no offense. But if you're not accustomed to these particular things, these things are something that you're not used to. You kind of maybe don't know that you have to be, I guess, proactive or forward thinking about these possibilities. So looking at it, giving it kind of like a benefit of the doubt that they don't live in that society where they have a sense of danger as such, to have a certain level of urgency for these potential things to occur, to happen. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, so looking up Nairobi, and I'm not trying to be the Kenya cheerleader. I am.
She is.
I am. Because,
For now, anyway.
for now. But when I tell you, Nairobi, Kenya has blown my mind. It almost makes me so angry to think what they were saying about Africa. Like, if come here, you definitely would not, definitely none of it was true. And I'm asking questions. We met some people on the train and we're like, how long has Nairobi been like this? Over 15 years. Over 15 years, it's been developed like it has been. I mean, they're constantly building. Every other place is building. But just looking at their numbers, I'm just doing the city. I'm not doing the whole Kenya. The city of Nairobi has 100 ambulances with only about 3 million people. The smallest population of people than Kigali for the city, than Ghana, Tanzania. 3 million people, they have 100 ambulances.
So I think that, the population count for Kigali is not correct.
No, just the city.
What I'm saying is that the country itself has 13 million. Rwanda has 13 million population, not the city of Kigali. Kenya is far larger than Rwanda. So
I'm sorry, Kigali has 1.5
Yeah.
million. 1.5 million residents with 8 ambulances servicing 1.5 million people. 8. And it's not that it's a poor city. The focus is not on emergency response. There's clinics everywhere you look. Clinics, drugstores, and liquor stores is like the main everything you're gonna see in Rwanda. Clinics, drugstores, and liquor stores everywhere. There's clinics in the houses. There's clinics just smushed up in. You could find a clinic anywhere, and the cost is very minimal. And what the president, the leadership has done is pretty much gave all their people the most affordable insurance you would ever hear of.
True.
So that the medical need, and they understand that each person should be able to have medical when they need it, but the emergency response, you might as well say there is none. The police, we got police there. They're gonna come handle some situations, and everyone respects the police.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading this question here.
I've never heard a fire truck.
Yeah, we had, hold on.
What are you looking
I'm
at?
just reading. Brother Rich King was like, hold on, what do you mean? What do you mean don't ride the motos, right? So,
Oh, we've been telling y'all not to touch
Listen,
on those motos.
I mean, you can, but it's just, you guys gotta be careful. I mean, because there's no rhyme, there's no reason. There's just,
Go.
you just go.
The law is go.
And
That's the only motor vehicle.
I with my own two eyes, I've literally seen some major, like life-altering, life-ceasing accidents on those motos. I mean, literally, no exaggeration.
But think about the expats that gotten on it. The one that went back to Uganda.
There's a brother who
Whole
came.
accident
My
right
brother,
off.
Kevin, salute.
He
heavy
said he wants you to
respect.
say his name.
But no, he's a good brother, and he, the day he was leaving to go back to Uganda,
Because he wanted to move here.
and I had just dropped him off. He was like, I'm gonna take the moto from here. I'm like, okay, you sure? He was like, I'm good. Okay, he got on it. Next thing you know, I'm getting a text like, yo, I just
And I think he was crushed.
I was like, what? I said, how? And it's just that fast. It's just that it can happen just like that.
And then the other guy, it was Brendan, he got a big old discoloration on his leg, like this big. Because these motos, they have no regulations. They don't have to meet certain requirements. So if the muffler's hot, there's no tailpipe on it, it's just not. It's just gonna burn the skin, and then what?
So that's what
You
we
can't call 911.
That's what we mean. That's what we mean, Brother Rich. That's what we mean. Most of just, you might be one of the fortunate ones to be okay. There's those that are fortunate, but anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on.
We don't play on those smoke.
No, we don't do that.
We trying to warn you. I'm a thrill seeker. They look so fun.
So Rich, okay, you said he got a scooter in Tanzania right now.
I see, I went to the scooter.
Well, he said he's in Tanzania.
Tanzania.
You might be.
Tanzania is a little little rough
Might
too.
be a
though.
little careful out there too.
It's rough, even in I don't know.
Just be
Unless you're in
careful.
like Arusha or maybe one of the further.
Yeah, now you in Dar
You
es
in
Salaam.
Dar, you bold.
Yeah, be careful, brother. Please be careful.
You are bold.
So someone had, K. Allen Gray has a question, said, what's the quality and service of the healthcare at clinics?
Right to consider.
Well, so the clinics, this is, now, so we can't really speak on that here in Kenya because we're just not getting here, but as in Rwanda.
But I'm gonna tell you why I was impressed with what I've seen regarding the hospitals here.
No, he said clinics.
No, and the clinics.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you was about to talk.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so it's to be desired. And because of how we were being treated, I had to find a private nurse. And a lot of things is, I even say when my mom was here, y'all hear that goat? It's not somebody yelling. It's
I thought it was a
okay.
little.
When my mom was here, part of her hospice care, she had the IV hooked up. And and the hospice nurse, one of them, no, she got fired day one. She kept grabbing, now there's an IV and a needle right here, and my mom was kind of out of it. This nurse kept grabbing her like this, with on the arm that has the IV and the needle. So the needle was pushing on her thing. And my mom's eyes were open up, and I knew she was in pain, so I kept telling her, get off of that hand. She's trying to do her blood pressure, do it on the other arm. She keeps grabbing the arm with the IV. It got to the point where I literally had to push her hands off of my mom, as my mom she didn't have enough energy to yell. Like, lady, listen, you are pushing, she got fired. But the other two nurses that were working with my mom around the clock, they were amazing. They were very gentle, very attentive, very caring. And I don't think I've ever came in the room and they were sitting down. They constantly was taking care of my mom. Those nurses, and I'm going to acknowledge them like Ken, but those nurses were...
She remember their name. That's what she means.
So rude today. Those nurses were amazing. But when my mom started getting sick, people kept saying, you're not going to take her to the hospital? Heck no. Heck no. Because I know how they're going to treat her in the hospital versus how they're going to treat her here in my care in her own comfortable house. The hospitals are cold. I don't feel it's not very sanitized. There's some amazing doctors there, and most doctors, I don't think I've ever met a doctor that was actually Rwandan that cares for me or my mom. They either came from Kenya or Ethiopia. They were very knowledgeable, even like, what is Natasha saying? You keep laughing. Very knowledgeable. Yeah, I guess I am kind of ghetto, but I don't know. I'll be fighting folks. She hurting my mom. My mom yelled. I'm like, what is going on? So when we go to the hospital, even for myself, I always make the nurse come with me to the hospital. It's simple stuff like they wanted to give me a C-scan. And they just like, they're hooking me up and they're about to put IV in me and I have to say, hold on, what's in the C-scan? What is the contrast you're about to give me? Because I'm allergic to seafood. Oh, it's not seafood, it's contrast. Excuse me. Most contrast is made from shellfish. Can you go and find out, please? They go and find out that the one that they use is high levels of shellfish. The iodine comes directly from the shellfish. And so I'm like, you would have just killed me right there. You would have caused a reaction that I don't really think you could have handled. So, no, they don't ask your history, they don't ask your allergens, they don't ask for past medical records. If you don't offer it, you're a brand new patient, brand new ailment. So then, after getting them to go and find a contrast that was very low in iodine and knowing to take the Benadryl and all of that before then, I'm in there, I'm ready to go get the treatment done. The lady's coming over and she's putting on latex gloves. So I'm telling her, I'm allergic to latex. You can't touch me with your glove. She's like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. She never asked, well, why do you say that? I've had a reaction before when someone grabbed me with the glove, period. And I wasn't even getting a shot. She was just checking my vitals and my whole arm started flaring up. So I'm like, no, you cannot. So she's taking her gloves off with attitude now, like this. Because the thing is now in Rwanda, the patients don't ask questions. They look at the doctors as the know-all. They don't ask questions. They don't say, well, how did this happen? What can I do to prevent it? But you go in there, and so they leave, and I'm asking, well, what did the doctor say? He just gave me this medicine.
So with that, because I inquired about that, before I want to add that, before I do, let me acknowledge my beloved sister, Natasha. Shout out to Natasha and Sunny and all of the whole, all of you all, the beautiful, beautiful Muhammad family. Thank you for joining. We greatly appreciate you joining in. Yes, I got my Mr. Clean going on here. I got she saw it, and it's crazy. You know, we've heard that based on your comments, as Natasha, we heard that being referred to someone else as well, who was a local. We were like, yo, that's crazy. You just come out your mouth and just say something crazy like that. Very offensive. No, you gotta read the comments.
I just read it.
It's crazy.
I'm like,
it's
what?
Crazy.
They told the girl you're fat, so that's why your body hurt.
It's crazy. That's some crazy stuff. So yeah, that's very, the level of sensitivity and anyway.
Yeah.
So shout out. Yes, Nori and Sunny. Miss y'all guys very much. Hopefully we see you guys soon.
Yeah, we will.
Indeed.
We will.
But what you were saying, sweetie, is that, because I inquired about that, it's like, why is it that even though our experience when we go to the hospital, right, even though it's not completely on the level, even though it's not completely on the level, we still, which is not right, we get a different type of treatment. Yeah, we do. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because one, we're going to a private hospital, right? That's one. Most of the locals, there are many, of course, many locals that do, but there are many who don't, and they go to more of the public hospitals. And you know, those who typically go to the public hospitals, they're not getting the same treatment, and they won't. And I asked them, why don't you ask questions? Why don't you inquire more of how your body's being handled and taken care of? And what they tell me is that they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. They're going to dismiss me. They're not going to take me seriously. So in their minds, it's like, it's no use. It's no use for them to, and I said, it's not fair. It's really not fair. It's not right.
But they try that with me.
Yeah,
they try that with me. They say, well, this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, no. They get so frustrated with me. I'm like, no, why are we going to do that? And I sit right there and I start, Dr. Google, because they know me. Dr. Google knows everything. And I'm researching, I'm like, what's the side effects? They always say there's no side effects. Now, I done already researched it and already seen that you're about to lie to me. So yes, it is. It says blah, 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 blah. Why would I want to do that? Okay, so what would you prefer? Now they're asking me to be the doctor. So it's like, what? And another thing, I don't think I ever told you this, that it still bothers me. You know, my mom passed away maybe, I don't know, the 27th, so whatever. I don't know, probably a month today. And when we were going through that process with the oncologist, he didn't say she's at level 4 cancer or, you know, it's going to be very progressive. She's at the end of her life. They didn't say none of that. They didn't say you need to start preparing, you need to maybe see a grief count. They said none of that. He said, we have a medication that can take the side effects away so that she can be comfortable. So I was like, okay. Now my spirit, I already knew where we were. I seen it. I already felt it in my spirit. So I was like, okay, but it still seemed like it could be hopeful. Well, it takes the side effects away, then we can treat the cancer. But first we had to take an x-ray. But this doctor was able to look at the scan and see that we had many liver spots on her liver, And I'm pretty sure he was able to see that she was at level, the highest level you can get in cancer. So he didn't give me proper time to, one, get my mom to acknowledge what's happening to her. She knew. At one point, I whispered in her ear and I started calling on the God. She jumped up, made her body jump up because she knew what that meant. And she's like, no, I'm not ready. If the doctor said, y'all, you guys, you need to listen, this is what's going on, blah, 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 we would have had that time to mentally and spiritually prepare for my mom's passing. Fortunately, we had a greater insight and we knew what was going on, but how many people don't? Like even my nurse kept coming and says, you might want to start getting, I'm telling the nurse, listen, I don't care about that, we're not taking that medicine. I know where my mom is, I see her progression, and I know she has a couple more days. So stop giving her this medicine, stop giving her blood pressure medicine. They kept her on blood pressure pills, her blood pressure was like 80, where it should be like 110 or higher, and this thing was dropping every day. Why didn't the doctor ever say, stop giving her blood pressure medicine? Stop doing this or that? You knew she was dying, but you said nothing. Thankfully, spiritually, we already knew what was going on. So, where I was happy, or I was like, it's not too bad before, for me right now, it's not good. This is where I'm at today. It's not good, I'm sorry. It's very, very, they got a long way to go. There's no trauma center, there's no emergency response. Does someone come in and the arm is broken, and someone else come in that's pregnant, and someone else come in that COVID, we're all sitting together and you're gonna wait your turn. There's no assessing of the needs. There's none of that. So I cannot vouch for their medical system. If you're in Rwanda and you need medical care, reach out to me so I can send you my nurse. I'll go to him before I go to any doctor, for real. And he's just a little guy, but he listens to the patient. And being able to listen to the patient, and we're not fighting, trying to get you to understand what's going on, then he could do the blood work, he do the vitals, and he takes that to the lab. And when it's done, he sends it to the appropriate doctor, because they had me seeing a disease control doctor for a blood disorder. And the doctor was like, why are you in here? And I said, I don't know. This is where y'all sent me. He was like, I don't know either. And I'm like, no.
You have to just, the significance of this live, as we try to bring every time, is for those who are making that consideration, they're relocating to the continent, or like my wife says, anywhere. These are those things that we just naturally just take for granted. We just assume that these are matters that are of great importance, and they did their due diligence to make sure proper measures are in place, but that's not the case. It's not the case. And so you have to be made aware of these things, not to, to shed a bad light or anything like that, but it's real. It's a real thing. We're talking about, our lives, and we're making life, changing decisions. And these things are important. These things matter.
And a lot of people that watch us, that email us, y'all know we read all the emails, all the text messages. People want to bring their parents, their moms, their dads, even your children.
Right.
So you got to put in consideration in certain countries, and again, we only can reference Rwanda. That's the first African country we lived in. There's no pediatric doctors. There's no pediatric care. It's go to the hospital or go to the clinic.
That's it.
Child or grown up. That's where you're going.
That's it.
Period.
That's it.
So what I did notice in Nairobi, and this is stuff that I look for because we still have his mom here. But we're getting older. So I'm looking and I'm seeing the hospitals with emergency rooms for real, trauma centers for real, big giant signs and big giant hospitals. Not a lot of hospitals you see in these African countries, it's like the size of a house. or just a two-story building, very small. They have real big old hospitals. Now, part of the research before we got here, and this is when my mom was still there, I knew that Kenya had the second best hospital in Africa. You know, South Africa has the #1 trauma center, #1 hospital. Kenya has the second best, but then I'm reading that Kenya has the best teaching hospital though. So there's a lot of things that you really gotta research. We didn't do. We didn't know to do it. When we left, we were like, okay, both of our moms were cancer survivors. And before we left, they both had checkups, cancer-free, for at least a year, for a couple of years for your mom, and maybe 6 months for my mom after she went through her treatment. When we came over to Rwanda, they both checked out cancer-free. Every year they get a checkup and they do the scans and it was cancer-free. We've had that checkup this year already for my mom, but somehow within a matter of 4 to 5 months, cancer was back. And we didn't know. She had no side effects, praise God, but no side effects of it. So, and it's these things, like my mom kept having diarrhea, she kept getting sick, and they kept saying it was she has this bug, and she had two bugs, and blah, blah, blah. And we kept saying it was the water. It could have been the liver failing, and we didn't even know. Because they, again, never asked for her records, but it was given to them. So, no.
So there's some comments.
Yeah.
Now, well, for those who expressed their condolences, thank you so much for expressing your condolences. You know, she, you know, my wife can tell you better than I can, but you know, her desire was to come to Africa and live, and her desire also was, if she were to die, to also die in Africa, and you know, she was able to do both of those things. So,
yeah,
you know, so we're grateful for that.
And she wanted to be cremated and her ashes put out to sea. So her birthday is coming up on the 29th, and on that day, she will be released into the ocean. And all promises are kept.
Indeed. Regional Sky Girl, thank you. Want to acknowledge you. Thank you for joining
She
in.
said from a random hotel. A random city.
Because she traveled. She's like, listen, I'm on the move.
Like,
but I took a moment to check you guys out. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate that. And my brother Wendell, I understand it's one of those dilemmas, brother. It's like we got to pick and choose, you know, what you want.
But here, I'm seeing a lot of holistic doctors. We done found herbal shops. They have, it's just so much more at your fingertips that we would have normally went to. I don't do hospitals, doctors, none of that.
Right.
But they have a lot of alternative medicine here.
And true indeed. Sister Natasha, I think what you say is absolutely right. Yeah, you know, go somewhere that has the best in medicine and the best in quality of life. It's you can't have one without the other. You gotta.
Even when you think you're healthy, and you're vegan,
Yeah.
and you're vegetarian, the difference in the climate can break you down a little bit. The different allergens can break you down a little bit.
I've been going through it.
This poor dude.
Listen,
I think since he shaved his head, he's been exposed. Yeah, I'm just being tortured with this snot and
man, I've been going through it. I mean, it's like, I don't know what it is, you know, but the only thing I can, you know, chalk it up to is the change in the climate. It was the same when we moved to Rwanda.
It's the bald head.
It's the bald head. I guess it is. I don't know. Anyway, but, you know, those things are real. Let's see who we got here. We got Brother Rick Hill. You know what, brother? This is...
We can't figure it out.
We try to turn it sideways. Every time we tell them we turn it sideways, they say turn it back
the
up.
phone's like, no.
Everybody's like trying to look at it. We don't know. We're going to get it together. We're going to make it work. But I'm with you. I don't like that old skinny, old narrow screen. I like it to be full. So we're going to figure it out somehow. I don't know. But thanks for the heads up on that, man. And so the question is, the question is, knowing what you know. So we're not in Rwanda any longer. I know we're talking a lot about Rwanda, you know, from this comment and this question here. We're actually in Kenya now, but we're fresh, and we had an epiphany, I guess, having been here and just recently been in Nairobi, and seeing something in
Hearing
the
ambulances.
emergency
every
response
30
that we
minutes.
had not heard or seen or experienced or witnessed in Rwanda, it was like, wow. You know, it was kind of refreshing.
Right.
Not that we want to see emergency response, but to know that if there is an emergency, there will be a response.
Yeah.
You
It's a year
understand?
later, we're still waiting for them to come from
And in
Mr. Trump.
Rwanda, it was not that. So again, again, we want to make you aware that in making your decisions, for those who are making these particular decisions and going to different places, that this is something to really, really consider. Really, really consider, you know. So
They say
yeah,
your body is detoxing and adjusting. Wow.
You know what?
You detoxing about a pound a day.
I feel you. I feel that. I feel like, you know, I feel like I'm being like, there's some purification going on. So thank you. Who said that? Thank you for saying that, because I mean, I don't feel sick or anything like that. I just feel, I guess that's the best way it could be put. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that for sure. All right.
Hey, Tony Africa, we waiting for you to
Brother
come
Tony,
on, bro.
man, listen. We know now, brother. Because Brother Tony was
Yeah.
telling us, like, he was like, listen, go to Nairobi. He was saying, go
He
to
kept
Nairobi.
saying
He
it.
kept saying it.
But he got that bad boy energy though, so I didn't know why he was saying it. Is he always
Don't listen to that, Brother Tony.
the bad boy. So I was like, there must be a party place, so I don't know.
Listen, we just went,
I see now.
we see, our eyes have seen the glory, brother.
I feel like I'm in rebirth. Like, wow.
Sister Karen said that. Yes, thank you for the, yeah, you're right. Detoxing and adjusting. Thank you for that. I'm going to go with that. Okay, so brother, look, out of all the places I've been to in Africa, the best for Africa is South Africa and Kenya. Okay, that's a stamp. That's a
Yeah.
good, because
That's the two places we've been focused on.
Yeah,
Natasha's
yeah.
in South Africa doing her scouting.
we'll just give up
We're in Kenya.
their business like
She just put it on there that she's in
Oh.
Cape Town. And
Okay,
we're in
all right.
Kenya. And so I'd be like, we went to Nairobi. If I was laughing at her because there was snow in Cape Town when she arrived last week. So when we got to Nairobi this weekend, we were sitting there shivering. But it's like, we're back in the States. What is going on? My nose was frozen. My feet was frozen.
Yo, I had frostbite.
He got fresh bald head. I'm like, ooh, we gonna have an icicle on that dome. It was cold.
Yeah, it was
We were
cold.
not prepared. It's been too many years since we felt.
So Natasha was like, she heard the sound and she felt like she back in Jersey. We felt this coldness. It felt like we was back in Philly.
Right.
So yeah, so the question was, can you use the U.S. dollar in Kenya? You know what? That's a good question.
Right now, you still can.
I mean, we don't have any U.S. dollars like physically, so we didn't have that. But
Yeah, you just use your ATM card. They even have ATM machines. I seen this the other day where you can pull out U.S. dollar.
okay, so
Right
we
now,
have-
you still can, but the president, he's working on his own plan to get that one currency, and I really hope he does. But right now, you can still use it, and it's about 7 times the value to the 1,000.
Yeah, so brother Eddie, in Rwanda it is pretty slow. You know, we were business owners there, if I'm understanding your comment correctly. So what was told to you is it's pretty true. You know, businesses. So here's the thing, and we may have been responsible for this.
But we're going to talk about it, business culture.
So true, it's very easy to attain the business in Rwanda.
To start a
To
business.
start, it's very easy to attain. It's very easy. I mean, literally, like within hours, you can on paper you can have it all straight up, set, ready to go, and that's very easy, And however, beyond that point, the maintaining of it, the operation of it, the how do I say, heck, the success of it, it's all the challenge because
Their spending culture is different.
they don't have that disposable income. They really don't have that type of disposable
Well,
income.
wait. Their priority to what they use their disposable income on is different.
That's true. That's
You know.
it's different. It's a lot different.
A lot
It's-
different. If you're coming from the States, we love leisure. We love to relax on the weekends. We love to eat out. We love to go and have fun. That's not what they do. They will spend, they don't mind spending all their money on schools and alcohol or liquor. And they would do that before they even eat. They'll come to the place 9 o'clock in the morning looking for a drink. I'm like, did you eat breakfast?
But this is what we learned too. I don't know if this is would, be the same anywhere else. But, I guess the best way to say their habit or their manner in which they spend, depending on the location of the business area. So where we were located, we just so happened to be located in the area where they like, it's already embedded in their minds that you go to this area and you won't spend you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get what you want, at a lower, even though, you're getting a high standard or higher quality of product, it's already in the mind, like, nah, buddy, you need, no, I'm not spending that type of money over here. Now, the same product, the same quality, over on another side, it's embedded in the mind, like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll spend that type of money over here. So it's just a crazy way, I guess it's like in reverse. It's like, okay, I would rather go I don't know. I'm not even going to, philosophize over it. It's just very different doing business there. It's not, you got to really be careful. You have to really, really be careful. Do like homework after homework after homework after homework.
And see, people will say, well, let's see, what do the country need? And I'll create a business out of that.
Don't do that.
Because if it's not something that they think that they need or that they do on a daily, they don't want your stuff. And I read the comment that the brother said about restaurants. We're just one out of like the 6 or 7 person that had to close up their business.
Yeah,
and we're the only restaurant. We've had people come, like I said, that were counselors, that were social workers. We had people that were trying to be a teacher, that was trying to be a guidance counselor, therapists. People that were coming to set up consultancy and people that were going to do a home-based business. No, if that's not what they do in their country, they don't want you. You can't come and tell them what your country needs and I'm going to provide it. If that's not part of the master plan or agenda, it ain't happening.
It's not happening. And true enough, though, a lot of these business things would be of a great benefit.
Very, very good.
I mean, really, really would. But like my wife said, if they don't deem it as such, it's not going to be supported. You're not going to get the business you think. So, man, it's a lot of comments and questions. This is good. I didn't think we were going to be on here this long. That's true, Brother Anthony. You're absolutely right. Running a business, a restaurant anywhere is definitely a challenge. That's absolutely right. So yeah, touche. So, but on top of that, being that already is the nature of a restaurant is already a challenge. On top of that, being in a country that doesn't have that type of spending habit or disposable income to be able to frequent these types of establishments. And maybe it was just us. I mean, because there are restaurants that are flourishing, they're successful.
Where?
There are. There are. I mean, there are. Of course, there are.
Big restaurants in certain areas. It depends on your area.
Right. Depends.
Don't try to go put your restaurant in an area. Forget about it. Oh, so anyway, and again, I'm not trying to talk down on Rwanda. We're just sharing our experiences. Some things that was hard for us. That our audience and what our purpose is on this channel is to just give you clarity on the choices that you're going to make. We didn't get that. We didn't even know to think about, do they have emergency response? Is that going to be something important for us? Their dental care, top of the line. Oh my God, the dental care, when we went to the dental They have dentists all over.
Oh, you talking about in Rwanda?
Yeah,
Oh,
Rwanda.
yeah. Very, very satisfying.
Man, and unfortunately it's an Asian place, and they have Indian doctors there, whatever. But to have a tooth removed, comes out very calm, did it in like 10 to 20 minutes, charged me $10, pulled the tooth out, numbed it up real good. I never had to come back. It didn't have irritation, it didn't over numb me or none of that stuff. The dental, and we did the whole entire family for dental when we went. We did the whole entire family for the eyeglasses, the optical care. Phenomenal. They came out with new technology I've never seen before when we got our glasses done. And then the dentist, the dental, when I did the x-rays, they had new technology. The machine was talking to me, and I'm like, what? And this is in Rwanda.
Yeah.
So those other things, dentists and eyeglasses, phenomenal care. Phenomenal care. So you really need to research what do you, not just you, but your whole family needs are. Your whole family needs are. If you're looking for a pediatric doctor, if your child has certain medical needs and you want to have pediatric care, you're not going to get that there. So you want to look for a place. We got someone that came in.
That's the one. Somebody said it. Dream Medical. That's exactly the place.
Hmm?
The person that just commented, North America to Africa Diaspora Connection. Dream Medical is the place. That's the place we went to. Excellent dental care.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, so, you just got to pick and choose what is important to you. Now, if you're a healthy dude and you're by yourself, you're a solo traveler, you got this, go ahead. But if you're someone that might need medical care, you might need emergency response, you want to make sure that you have that available. Yes, this brother said, and also what I've noticed here in Kenya, Nairobi, I was seeing cancer centers. And that was very impressive to me, because when we were making sure that there was going to be cancer care in case either one of the mamas' cancer came back. Rwanda does have one that they were developing in the outskirts, kind of far from the city. But as far as the cancer center, which was at the biggest hospital they have, it was much of like a 2 rooms. It's very much to desire. But to see, okay, a whole cancer center, it's unfortunate that we have to focus on cancer, but to know there's a center and emergency response for those people, and it's specific for cancer care, that was important. I seen pediatric signs all the way down, up and down, everywhere. I seen not just hospitals or clinics, I barely seen clinics. I seen they had big hospitals. So it was more of what we were used to seeing in the States. And I guess for us, because we come from there, it was just more, it just felt better. I don't know how the care is, but I know what my research says.
Right.
But it just felt better.
Right. So Brother Tommy asked, what do we think about the level of friendliness in Kenya? Very friendly.
Yeah.
Very friendly. I mean,
Very
really,
friendly.
yeah.
Now,
Everyone we met so far,
very friendly.
we have one. I mean, she's like right across she's extremely friendly. She latched on to my mother,
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like
Cute and bubbly and
from day one. She was, I was like, wow. It's like, man, this is really incredible.
yeah.
But everyone's been very friendly.
The girls went to camp last week, summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
Come back full of friends from Germany, from Istanbul, from Kenya. Everyone speaks the same language. They all speak their own native tongue, but they all can speak English. They're on WhatsApp, they're chatting with them. They made friends here, and this has never happened for them in Rwanda. We've only pretty much had friends in the expat community. None of their friends are American here. So it's like, wow, this has just really been a different experience, and we've only been here about 3 weeks now. The best business I see working in Rwanda, Kenya, would be a business process outsourcing, like a call center. That's what I did read, that they're training their people up so that they can have call centers, different work from home businesses, different businesses where they can work online, they're training, they have all these smart cities being developed for that purpose alone.
For what's that again?
For a call center, she was saying.
I think it will work very well in Kenya. Now I don't know how much in Rwanda because of.
Did he say Rwanda?
Yeah, he said Rwanda/Kenya, right?
No, not Rwanda.
Only because
They don't understand.
yeah, the level, the English. I think that there will be even those who speak English, pretty well. Again, it's like there's still somewhat of a barrier there. There's a barrier. I can't really explain it. It's kind of hard to
It's like they
the
can speak it, but they don't understand it. Well, they understand the British English better
That's for one,
than the American English.
which I can understand that.
I don't hear a difference. I just hear accent.
Yeah, British English is a lot better than American English.
It's, I don't know. For one, but
When it's
two,
spoken,
one of the things we wanted to do with the consultancy when we were trying to do that in Rwanda is typing, teaching to type, speed typing. That's not a thing in Rwanda. 2-finger Johnny all day long. You'll be in line for an hour while he's typing your name in the system.
2 fingers down.
Man, I'd be so frustrated. You'd be at the bank for hours because that's how long it's taking to type this stuff in the system. So just teaching speed typing, we wanted to just do that with the Muhammad One group, come in and just do the teaching speed typing. But if the country doesn't see that as a need, there's no need to be fast. There's no need for speed. There's no need to be on time. Forget about it. Now over here, I'm seeing urgency. I'm seeing people move with purpose and they're trying to get things done. We haven't been to no banks. We haven't been to no hospitals. I don't really know if it's on Africa time here or if it's, we don't know that yet, but it just really depends.
So, Sister Karen, just to answer your question, my mother is 73.
That's what I say. You don't know.
She's 73. So, please, if you bring your mother, we'd love to, connect them together. They can have a good old grand old time. Now, I will say, I don't know so much here in Kenya, but I know in Rwanda, the senior community was large.
But we kind of made that happen though, because we have mamas. So we were putting on activities constantly so that our moms would have something to do.
Yeah, it's a large.
Yeah, so it's a nice, very nice senior community.
But moms is here. If you bring your mother here, that'd be a blessing.
We're about to start that over here. We gotta get something for the mamas to do.
So there was another.
For your mom to do.
Another from. As far as so Tam, we're traveling next week to Nairobi. Listen. So I'm gonna tell you. Listen, let me say. So just keep it 100, right? We weren't in Nairobi for a few days. We were supposed to be there for a long time. We only really, truthfully, we only went to 2 malls, right? And had a blast.
That's
I'm talking about we went to 2 malls. We went to the Westgate. We went to 2 Rivers. Now you can go to 2 Rivers alone.
With the whole family.
With the whole family. And
just come at 10 and just park.
And you can stay the whole and have an incredible time. I mean, the mall is huge.
Yeah.
And it's just so much activity.
Yeah.
Even in Westgate, almost the same.
No, Westgate would be like Lennox.
Well, they don't know. Everybody don't.
Westgate was the young, energetic, hip. It was just constantly people from every walk of life in there. They had movie theater up there. They had a bowling alley, I think, somewhere in there. All kinds of food. People. I had a hoagie. I had Subway. I had a turkey and cheese hoagie. I've been begging people to bring me some turkey for 3 years. Nobody did it.
Sister Natasha,
Natasha didn't do it.
I know you have to say, she said she got to sign in to work. Thank you always. Your energy is always good. We appreciate you every single time. Sonny and Nora, it seems like they're having the time of their lives where, they're in South Africa. I'm so happy for them. When I see you guys' pictures, it just brings joy to me. And I'm glad they're really having a great time. I really, really am. So, man, we miss you guys. We really do.
Yeah, so they have amusement parks at the Two River, like water park. It was too cold, so that part wasn't open. And they got boating, rock climbing. They had go-karts out there. They had these big robots that you get in. And what I'm loving about, and like, yeah. And what I'm loving about these malls out here, they got these big old stuffed animal thingy-majigs on wheels, and people just riding all over the mall on the reindeer, just crazy stuff. The cars, the little ATVs for children, they just riding around like la la la. Just the malls are amazing, and that's all we did because we had no money, so we just went to the mall, hung out all day, and had the best time.
But there's so many, that we didn't get a chance to experience this go around. But God willing, the next go around we'll be able to experience. There's like tons of national parks.
Yeah, it's so much, but we can't tell them because we're going to show y'all. I gotta stop him because he's about to say everything that we got to do.
I don't remember everything, but this
campaign, you're gonna have to email us and we'll send you some stuff because we don't want you to tell everything. There's so much out here. That's what I'm excited about.
But what you can do too is if you go to Nairobi, I don't know how long you're going to be there. You can take the train, right, from Nairobi. For little or nothing, you can do
$7.
$7 just a regular coach economy, or you can do first class like $20. It's just about a 6-hour train ride, little less. Come to Mombasa, and you got the beach. They have activities here. They got a national park here. Of course, they got the beaches here. The food is delicious. They have things for children. Also. So.
We just learned so much about Kenya, all the tribes, the cultures. Man, once we can really get our footing done, we're going to have so much content for you guys. Kenya is amazing.
Yeah.
Kenya is amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It feels...
Yes, Linux Mall on ATL.
That's what it feels like, yeah. But Kenya feels like home. It feels like you can come here straight from the States and go right to Nairobi and wouldn't have no kind of culture shock. Period. None.
Yes. That's great. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. So happy that we're bringing that enlightenment. So yes.
Yo, someone said, is Nairobi better for teen children than Kigali? Any child.
Listen, hands down. Listen, you get to see. It's so refreshing. Like, okay, so all right. So just Mombasa itself, right? Mombasa is primarily, it's predominantly Muslim. I don't know about statistics, but just
it's a
Muslim island, right? But
all different kinds.
All different. But here's the beauty of it is that these young teens, they're Muslim, they maintain their Islamic way, but they're stylish, they hang out, they go to the movies, they meet up with each other,
yep.
They have a fun time, a blast. They're like regular children,
period.
Just regular teenagers, and they just have a great time just being regular children.
But they're safe.
And they're safe.
It's not about, I have not smelled weed yet. I'm sure I'm going to smell, oh wait, in Kenya, nope. I mean in Nairobi, I haven't smelled weed, even though I know they have it.
What?
Yeah, in Kenya, in Nairobi.
I don't know.
I've seen my first drunk guy a couple days ago. It was, but it's like wholesome living. I don't understand how we didn't see this. We didn't know it. But more than anything, you're never going to see this on Western media. They ain't never going to tell you that there's a city, we were saying look like some parts of Italy, some parts of Upper Darby in Pennsylvania, some parts of Atlanta. I see like the Jewish influence in the design architect that we would have in Philly, but that's not what's over here.
The Lavington area, Westland, you see, it's like high living, and it's very enough.
And it's just regular.
I got let me shout out my brother, my FOI brother, Connection Black to Africa. Yes, Kenya is the move. But let me say this. This is something that may go past some of you guys. Brother Malachi is on here too, so Malachi, he'll understand this too. Listen, I was in Nairobi. We were in Nairobi, and we were driving through the streets, right? I'm seeing like cars, and I'm like, I can literally see FOI with the final call, like just soldiering that's the way the setup is. The setup is set up where you can be in a certain area, just like in the States. You can have a final call, and you could be out there, just go ahead. And I was really just riding, just watching and observing. I could see it. I can really, really see it. And I can see it to the point that we can make it happen. We can make it happen. Would not have to change
because
the language, they
have
speak
freedom
English.
here. They have freedom of speech, and
Right.
we were telling our brother on the train yesterday.
I can even see it in Mombasa.
Yeah.
Truthfully,
Yeah.
the same thing in Mombasa. I could see it.
You gotta be careful though. You gotta be careful. But we were on the train and we were talking, and I was telling them, because they're having protests about some governmental issues with taxes, and the young folks, they're not happy right now. So they're protesting, and I'm happy to see it, because that shows me that the country recognizes that there's power in your voice, and you're allowed to have one.
Right.
And you're allowed to demonstrate, I'm not being treated properly. And you're allowed to be heard and be seen. And I think today they're actually going to have a meeting of the minds discussing, trying to come to terms.
Today they're meeting because of the effects, how would I say it?
Yeah, of the protests. So they're
What
trying
happened, it's kind of like more like from what we're told, it's like I don't know. It's more of, because some individuals got injured.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming to kind of
But
recognize those particular individuals.
even just doing that, and it's kind of, and it was hard for us, especially in Rwanda, is they didn't have those kind of freedoms. They were afraid to talk and express how they felt at a doctor's office. So marching, protesting, no, you're not going to probably ever see that in Rwanda. You're never going to hear that. The youth will have no voice when it comes to that. Over here, they're like, listen. But they do it organized. They make sure to pay. They told us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, these next 3 days, they're going to be protesting. This railway is going to be closed because they're going to be on the highway.
Yeah.
Like, they know exactly where they're going to be. It's going to be a protest. How many people are going to be out there? How many they were expecting? They put that on lockdown. Like, it's organized, but it's allowed. And that was great to know. They had some looting. They had some shooting. Not the people.
That ain't good.
That's not good. But it was like in the States. No justice, no peace. They were fighting. They out there like, this is what's going on.
But again, it's like in the States, you have those who come to in an organized fashion to really be very, deliberate about their protesting, just to use their voice and their numbers to make a difference, with no intent of doing anything that is, going to bring any bad light on them. But you have those individuals who find their way in there, and it happens. And that's kind of the same here. You have, from what we were told, that they're organized and they want to use more of their voice, but you have those unfortunate that come and they get rowdy, and they just, how it goes, and they do what they.
What happened? That's the part of being young.
Yeah.
But they handled it. We didn't see any of the effects, felt any of it, and we always felt safe to us. Always felt safe.
Right.
So, man, right now, Kenya's amazing. Kenya has so much to offer. It's so big. It's just so many different dynamics to it. I'm sad that my mom wouldn't be able to experience all of this, but I'm happy because this is a new chapter for us. It's a new chapter for us, and we're going to make the best of it. And we're excited.
Very much.
Because we're going to have a lot of good footage. We're announcing that we now have a merch line that will be put up soon. A lot of people ask, where do they get these shirts from? This actually came from Wudamaya's merch line. It's not one of ours.
Shout out to Wudamaya.
But the 196,940,000 square miles, we have hoodies, we have the world is ours, t-shirts going on. We have all kinds of stuff like that will help contribute to our channel so that we're able to keep making content. I know people that think making content is free, but none of you can't don't have no money to go nowhere to get it.
we can't get them to tuk-tuk to
We
go off the
can't,
street.
like, we can't even get on the tuk-tuk, so, no, making content ain't free, because if you can't go find the content, you stuck. So, so please check out our merch line, it's coming out today, I'm hoping we can put it on this right here, but if not, you can go into the
I'm
store.
trying to figure it out.
It might be afterwards or something, but you can go to the store right here on YouTube and look at the merchandise. We got tote bags, we got flip-flops with the residential tourist on it. Well, no, it says I am a residential tourist. So you have all those kind of products just to represent your travel, but it helps us to be able to continue to grow.
It does.
That
And we
does.
want to encourage people to explore the globe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially we, the diasporas, man. Look, we're everywhere, man. We the original people. We don't have to be confined. We don't have to be subjected.
Nope.
We can go, if we can, of course, afford, but we can make that a priority, man. We can go wherever we
Look, we
choose
pay for
to go.
cruises, we pay to go to the islands, we give them all our money. It's the same cost to come to Africa. Trust me.
Come, check
It's
it
the
out.
same cost. And all the things that you would do, and that people go to the same islands year after year. I'm going to Jamaica. I'm going back to Jamaica. Jamaicans come from Africa. And the same things you can do there, you can do over here on the continent and have a whole new experience and a whole new different opportunity. So we don't want to hold you guys. My throat's starting to hurt.
Man, I had a good time. I didn't even.
Yeah,
I had
I
a
keep
good time.
telling them we can have fun on live, and I just like that. Like, what?
That's not true.
Listen, it's going to live. People, please, if you want to
That's
bless
right.
the
Word is
channel,
out.
we still have our CASHAPP, money sign, the residential tours. Told you
Detoxing.
it's the ball
I'm
head.
detoxing. Like my sister said, I'm detoxing.
People are hitting that button. They hit the button to have the what's this thing called?
Super chat.
The super chats. Y'all, we don't get the super chat money. YouTube takes all that. Cash App, please. Zealot, please. Don't hit the super chats. If you send in $10, we getting $3. They ain't giving us this money. So y'all
That's right, Brother Rick. The whole planet is ours.
And we got shirts that says the planet is ours. Go on there, you'll see it. You'll love it.
We can't not put the messenger in there.
Mm-hmm.
We got to. We have to.
Thank you, Miss Gray. Yeah, that was not. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you guys for coming on, watching. We got some content that's about to drop tomorrow.
You see this? Do you
Tomorrow,
see this?
right?
You see,
He's the editor. He won't teach me, so he's the editor.
Listen, you see this bullying?
So it's gonna drop. Y'all tell him let it drop tomorrow, right?
She's bullying. She's bullying.
Tell him when we ready.
Oh, thank you guys. We
I'm telling you, Tam, no. If they sent 10, we getting 3. I'll be like, where's the money at? Somebody did a super chat. YouTube was like, thank you.
Oh, so real quick, so just last comment. So the season for wild beast immigration, not familiar with that. We have to.
Right. They
You know
told
about
us
that?
it's the wildebeest.
Wildebeest.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, wildebeest.
Yeah, it's now. It was last week. Someone, hold on, this is important. They said, what's the cash app? Money sign residential tourist. That's it.
Yeah.
But this is their winter time. The only thing I'm not used to is people smoking. I don't remember all of this in London. And Atlanta's like smoke free, but this is killing me. But
Take them all, Tony. Okay.
what do you say?
Okay.
I'm telling you, those malls, I was like, what is this? It's not Africa. When you come, like if you come to Kenya, you will be confused. You'll be like, this is Africa?
I'm gonna tell you. Look, I was asleep. And
Yeah, because he didn't want to come.
No, come on, man. Yeah, she
No, I'm
put me out
saying
there
that
like-
I always want to say, well, let's go to Kenya.
I didn't say-
want to go to Kenya.
No. Now before I was like, because my brother Tony, he was telling me about Nairobi. He was telling me kind of like more like the party. I'm like, I'm not really, So and then we heard about Mombasa. I'm like, oh, okay, let's check out Mombasa. But then it was like, everybody kept talking about Nairobi. I said, well, Brother Tony was telling us about Nairobi. All right. So we went, and I love it. I love it. But now
good. I was waiting to hear you say that.
But here's the thing. So here, this is what she's talking about. I'm going to tell you what she's saying. So I said the other day, I said, listen, I'm in Nairobi, but I don't feel, like she just said, I felt like I'm back. I was in the middle of the night sleeping, and I'm like, where am I? I did not feel like I was in Africa. I literally felt like I was back.
Cold.
I was cold. I could hear sirens. I could hear, I feel like I'm back in the States. And I'm like,
yeah, they want the T-shirts.
So I'm feeling like, I don't feel like I'm in Africa. I feel like I'm back in the States. So I'm about to be back in the States.
No. But see, that's the thing. People think because you go to Africa,
it's just
that you want to just be rough. You want to rough it. You don't want any of the Western conveniences that you've had all your life. You want to just strip everything you've known, and you want to just be kind of raw with it in Africa. You have that thought because you want to leave so many of the poisons back there. But after a while, you be like, why is toilet paper $12 for a pack? That's Rwanda, and you come over here and I got toilet paper, same pack for $2.50. It's stuff like that. Your mind is blown. What? So yeah, but again, the T-shirts. If you go in our community and go to our store, right on our YouTube channel, but we are going to put the link underneath of this as well. Please check out our T-shirts. Oh, our hoodies, our windbreakers. They don't ship over here, so I need someone to buy me a windbreaker that I put in there and a hoodie. And bring it when you come. But please, you guys, support the channel. Hit us up on CASHAPP. You can always send us our email and text. Y'all already know that because I wake up to about 5 to 10 emails a day. But man, thanks for following us.
We're working on that.
Listen.
When we were in Rwanda, we definitely established a network for persons who were traveling. So when they hit the ground, they didn't have to have any second guessing. We did the due diligence. We tested and tried.
Yeah.
So they didn't. So we do have so for one,
the relocation service is still
relocation,
up.
especially there's a sister, beautiful sister named Vicky. She helped us. She really did her due diligence, and we even connected her with the brother who unfortunately he changed his mind. He's not coming, but as soon as he got here, connected him with the sister. She hit the ground running. What she could not do, she didn't stop. She reached out to her colleague. She made sure that he got what he got, and he did. He did. He got something very, nice for himself.
And we're going to be putting her on the channel too in a couple of days. So she's our realtor, so she's going to be doing that.
So drivers as well. We have drivers.
Even in Nairobi.
Even in Nairobi.
Because we got the Airbnb already connection.
Right. This is how we think. This is how when we have a great experience.
Yep.
We always. No cap, as they say. We always think about the possible persons who are coming. We always think outside of ourselves. We're always thinking about, yo, he's good, she's good. Look, what's your number? And we always tell them, listen, there's people, that possibly want to come this way. Do right. Because
the price is right. Don't try to,
Yeah, do right. We'll connect you with them, and they'll be all love.
And we already got people that have reached out to them, so. And that's how we give back. That's how we keep the dollar circulating. People don't understand the tourism sector. That's what we are. That's what we do. We get you guys to come over and just experience a little bit of Africa. You're bringing in dollars. You're employing people. You're staying in their residence. You're employing the drivers. And you're out here exploring the Kenya.
That's right.
So, we're part of the tourism sector. So, yeah, we're going to have all of that there for you.
So family, I had a great time, man. I really did.
We keep talking, my throat hurt.
I had a great time. Thank you so very much, as always, for lending your time, whether it's on live or just taking a moment for one of the videos that we present. I think that for me, personally, I'm more settled now. I'm settled, so I can crank out a lot more, but I'm trying to get better. Y'all know. You know how we went to Rwanda? It was the same thing. They was like, Muhammad, get in gear, man. Get it in gear. So
as long as he knows it's him. I wake up every morning. We should do it live. Let's talk about this. No, I feel like it. Okay, we should go here and let's record this. No, it's gonna rain.
She put 100 on 10, but that's all right.
Okay, then
I'm gonna let her have it. I'll let her have it.
then. So I'm glad, like I said, Nairobi put some energy back into us. Today I said, let's do it live. He said, okay. I said, yes. Let's do it, y'all. So we'll see you guys later on the week. We're about to post this content up about our experiences over the weekend. And we got a lot of exploring to do.
Thank you so much. Our prayers go out to each and every one of you. Peace and blessings. And until next time, much love.